Here we go.
Over there.
Hey everybody, welcome. Am I on? Can you hear me? Yep. Okay. It's much quieter today than I felt like it's been in the past. Last few years I felt like I was yelling at everyone like at the escalator. So welcome back. I am Mike Letschin. Welcome back to another great year of vExpert Daily. So I think we're up to 10 plus years, maybe 12 years we've been doing this. It feels like about a century. But it is great to be back out here hanging out with some friends and some people you may or might not know over the last few days. And the next few days, we will bring up some guys that have been designated as vExperts by VMware and talk about the news of the day, the things we've seen, the things that happened the night before, things you should pay attention to. But before we start digging into the actual stuff, let's do some introductions so it's not just me standing up here. So we'll just kind of go down the line and...
Sure. Morning. I'm John Waite. I'm Chief Technology Officer for CCL. We're a cloud service provider based in New Zealand.
And I'm Anthony Spiteri. I'm a Senior Technologist at vExpert.
I'm Sean Thulin. I'm a Senior vArchitect at Dell EMC.
I'm Tony Foster. I'm a Senior Technical Marketing Engineer at Dell EMC as well.
That's a lot of titles.
It is.
That's a lot of. We have a lot of old people in the panel.
We're going great.
We definitely went for the old panel to kick this off. So it's because we had to start early. They can't make it through the end of the day. They start just falling off. It's pretty bad.
I'm in bed by 4:30, so.
Well, you can't be in bed by 4:30. Early bird special doesn't start till 4.
Exactly.
That's what I heard. I don't have to go to that, unlike you seniors. So let's get right into some of this. Let's go chronological. We'll start with last night. So most people got in yesterday. There were a few things going on during the day. That we had opening acts. There was some partner stuff. There was some VCDX stuff during the day. So what did you guys do during the day yesterday when you got in?
Opening acts.
And your thought on it? What did you think of opening acts?
That was my favorite opening acts that I've been to, and I've been to all of them. That one was extremely well done. Absolutely no discussion of technology. None. And it was all about developing your career and moving your career forward.
Well, there was no discussion of technology on stage. I mean,
Touché.
One of the things that was great about the environment was there was like a room all the way in the back that people could just go sit and have private conversations. And that's where a lot of the technology discussions were actually happening, especially after they said we were too loud and people on stage could hear us.
Numerous times. But I thought as well, just, getting sort of subjects which might be a little bit more passe to talk about, like salaries and expectations and stuff like that. Was really interesting to hear people talk about, what are they remunerated on? Is it bonus schemes or is it, just base salary? So to have these difficult conversations, which we don't really talk about too often because it's kind of, forbidden, to get that out in the open, I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think obviously, so as you guys are aware, I'm one of the guys that helps organize that, and that was really the goal. It was, what is that topic we can bring up that people don't want to talk about or don't talk about, but should get talked about? I mean,
yes.
And we felt like that was a good step one. I felt like it went fantastic. It was probably one of my favorite ones we've done. Like you said, we've been doing it for years now. I've done, 6 years? We've been doing opening acts now. So for those of you who don't know opening acts, it is a kind of precursor to VMworld. So if you weren't aware of it, it is the day before. We've done it now for many years on Sunday at some venue, and it is 3 to 4, depending on the year, panel discussions, just community members. It is corporate sponsored, but not a corporate show. And you don't get to be on a panel just because you put money into it. The panelists are very strategically picked, and we try to pick different people each year, make sure there's a good balance. Male, female, senior, junior, whatever it is. So I was real happy to see so many people there. I thought it was a good turnout.
This has been the driving factor as to why I've been coming out Saturday night instead of Sunday morning, is to make sure that I am refreshed and ready for the all-day.
Which is easy. You only had to fly cross country.
Yeah, 6 hours.
Oh, I'm really annoyed that I spent 14 hours yesterday on a plane and missed all of it.
Yeah, I had a feeling that's where that was going to go.
To be fair, I go 5 hours before you go 40 hours, so I win.
Yeah, true. Okay, so we had opening acts. Then we came right into the welcome reception. So did you guys all get over here during the welcome reception?
Yeah.
How was it? I didn't make it over, obviously. I was kind of busy someplace else.
A little bit busy.
Mm-hmm. Busy is good. I mean, there was a lot of people interested in seeing, what the vendors had to offer. But the layout was actually really good. It's wide open area to get into.
I'm glad we're back here. I mean, everyone loves Vegas, obviously, but I'm glad we're back in this situation.
Did you say everyone loves Vegas?
well.
Everyone is a strong word for that.
Search deep down. You know, people do actually.
If I search deep down, I still hate Vegas.
Get out.
Yeah, I agree.
Vegas has its
controversial.
advantages. There are cheap
It's cheaper.
flights, there are
Cheap,
cheap
much
hotels.
Well, it's cheaper to stay there.
Yeah.
It is,
How long
yes.
Stay out at night knows how cheap it is. But,
I'm not attacked by bums.
We digress. So the layout's amazing in there, more space. I know our booth that we had was packed from the start, so you've got some energy as well. That's what you
Yes.
want as a sponsor at the booth. You want energy, and we felt that.
Yes, I will also say the side areas where the smaller vendors are, that was really well done as well. There was a lot of foot traffic I was seeing in there. A lot of good information back in those.
And maybe for those that are newer to VMworld, understanding that's where you get a lot of value. Not looking at the big front stands, because they're all the guys that have been there, done that. If you want some really interesting tech and what's coming, go to the back, go to the booths that are like one by one, because those are the tech of the futures, right? They might not be here in 5 years, they might be sucked up or they might be gone, but that's the really interesting stuff. So
Yes.
You also get to see which ones that were the big ones in the middle that now are outside on the small ones. And
Yes.
you get to question why.
But yeah, what Andy said, you know, I get the most value out of the whole of VMworld, out of the Solutions Exchange. So walking around last night was brilliant. And go check out the little guys at the back. There's some really cool ideas down there.
Was there anybody, or not necessarily a company, but a tech that really jumped out at you?
There's quite a few, but I'm keeping them to myself.
So you can walk around, but he's not going to tell you where to go.
John and I,
Not that we're trying to be helpful or anything here.
Yeah,
this is pretty typical.
Some of us will be helpful.
composable infrastructure was my.
Some
big
of us are going to, we're going to.
But if you know John, it's very typical of John, because him and I were kind of like almost enemies or frenemies for a few years in the service provider space. He wouldn't talk to me. It's only after I joined and skipped to the vendor side, he would.
Now all of a sudden, now you're friends? I see how it is. So did you guys see somebody? Was there somebody, a tech, something interesting, since he won't tell us?
So, I mean, I saw kind of two major themes of people who are kind of new this year, or at least a lot more of them, is those providing kind of edge services and those providing, you know, either as a service or stuff. There's a lot of people who are offering like DR as a service or the automation platforms to help you get there. There's just a lot more of them now than there were in years past.
So I did a quick walkthrough. Was there a vendor called Mice and Men?
Of us and him?
I thought there was. I
I
sworn
don't remember
all the way
seeing
on this
them.
side. I think there's right. There's a vendor called Mice and Men.
We're here all
I was
week.
like, you have the best name so far.
Yes.
I have no idea. I just saw they weren't even open yet. I was coming through yesterday and I was like, Mice and Men. That's,
Is it like maybe data analytics or something?
I have no idea.
They're just giving out books.
Just one.
One specific book. So okay, so now we've done the welcome reception, and then did you guys all make it to either VM Underground or the BMUG party last night?
I made it to VM Underground.
I figured you were asleep at 4:30.
I took a nap.
Took a nap.
beforehand.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I was in Underground as well. It was a great event, actually, as usual. Was at the back playing, well, actually won 4 games in a row, so I was on fire. That's a side story.
was it you were on fire? Or the other people just suck.
Well, I heard a few guys in the background, and yeah, maybe they were.
Somebody was hustling.
It was all good. But no, I think it was a great event. The food was good. Talk, the atmosphere. I mean, I didn't stay too long because I was stuffed tired. But when I left, it was just getting busy. People outside. So as usual, a great event run by the community for the community. So
Yes.
as usual.
Awesome. Okay.
Oh yes.
No, the location was absolutely great there. You know, tabletop being like a gaming kind of bar. You know, I saw people playing Munchkin. There were people playing Street Fighter V. There were people playing pool. There was all sorts of stuff there. Everybody was just having a good time, and a lot of these social-based games really drove conversation and stuff during it. So it was an absolute great. Sorry. It's an absolute great location for it, and I hope it goes back there again next year.
Okay.
I didn't make it. See a pattern emerging.
I don't know why we had him on the panel today. This was pointless. I have no idea.
I was meant to be on a booze cruise. There was like a sponsored cruise laid on by I think it was the Power Provider Business Unit. We're taking people out on a boat, and in the end I didn't make that either. So, quite nice.
It's okay. He'll get better later.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is going to be rough. So we're going to try to move to this morning, so maybe he has something to contribute. So we move on from there. Hopefully got a decent night's sleep. Everybody get out. Are you staying someplace nearby, or are you all way the heck away from here?
8-minute walk. Pretty good.
8 minutes. That's not bad.
Square, so you can see something about this place.
I had a 3-minute.
Oh, there you go.
Do the marquee.
You win.
Aaron?
Well, almost that same distance, just the other direction.
Oh, okay. So I mean, I think that is a difference too between Vegas and here for sure.
Everything's more compact, more close. You don't need to travel 10, 20, 30 minutes to get anywhere. So,
Well, that's to get to the door in Vegas.
Yeah.
It's also considerably cooler outside, which makes walking a lot easier than in Vegas where it's 110 in the shade.
True.
Yes.
So we get into this morning and we get our first keynote, and it seems like we, unlike VMware, when I came into the airport, there was a sign up that had it as the same logo but containerware instead of VMware.
interesting.
Thought that was a pretty good indication of what they were going to talk about when it was their ad.
Yeah, you think?
So this morning we get, Kubernetes, and then a little more.
Kubernetes.
What'd you guys think of the keynote? Thoughts, comments? Good keynote, bad? I mean, they've gone up and down over the last few years.
First thing, the actual hologram effect of having Pat looking like he was actually on in front of the screens, amazing.
Yes.
I looked twice. He's not. He's there. So the actual technology that's going in these keynotes today, fantastic. So.
Well, if you
Yes.
sat in the middle, Pat really was up there.
No,
wasn't he?
are you sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
Positive?
pretty sure.
Maybe it wasn't.
I went to bed early. I got a good night's sleep.
So you're pretty sure you saw him?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we think about outside the tech, the talk track of it,
It was
for people who might have missed it because maybe they went a little longer last night and didn't make the keynote?
I think the really interesting thing that Pat really talked about the good and the bad of IT. It's the first time we've heard
Yes.
a situation like that where we're not just talking about it as buzzwords and technology and white source. And he kind of tapered it all by is something good, yes, but then what is bad about it? He used it on lots of levels as well, which is really interesting.
Yeah, Bitcoin was one of the big things that he called out.
Very bad.
Yeah, he called it out as very bad and gave a bunch of different examples, and he's like, but the underlying technology of Bitcoin, blockchain, is extremely important for all of these different things that we're doing.
Do we feel like we'll get a keynote without buzzwords at all?
Never.
No.
But to be fair, it was on the less side of more, which I thought was good.
You felt it was the right amount of buzzwords versus
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Pat is one of those keynote speakers.
To geek.
He can nerd out with
Yeah.
the rest of us. In
Yes.
fact, he tried the hardest thing ever to unite the Star Wars and the Star Trek fans.
Yes.
That was
Under one roof.
Not sure if that worked, but it's,
Yeah.
no. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
But he came out and he did a power hour. He did a full hour set without really missing a beat. I mean, at one point, like I said, he was getting caught up in just the high energy of it himself and how he's geeking out over a lot of this technology. But he really started to paint a story around a lot of the acquisitions that they've been doing. I mean, VMware's been on a buying streak this year. They're buying all sorts of companies. They even bought just 2 this last week.
Yeah, I was going to get into those. What do we
Yes.
think on those acquisitions while we're there?
Pivotal's interesting.
Was that a surprise to anyone?
Not a surprise, but it's still interesting. But when you look at what they announced with the whole thought over the Kubernetes, was it Project Tanzu?
Yes.
Yeah.
Specific, it makes sense in terms of what's happening. So I mean, that was in the Federation anyway, kind of, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think
And
that was.
Carbon Black was, from what I understand, had a little bit of Dell funding as well, potentially.
I wouldn't be. I mean, they have a
Yeah,
venture arm that
that's what I heard
has
anyway.
their hand in a lot of things, so it wouldn't be. I didn't look, but it wouldn't be surprising.
Well, they're from Boston, so they're from my home area there. And
So that's why we shouldn't like it.
no, I think it's great.
I wasn't sure which way you were going. Oh, I knew which way you were going.
But they're gonna, I mean, Carbon Black is gonna layer in as part of the NSX portfolio, and I think it's gonna be a great area that they're using to kind of innovate up, and it's that kind of spot that was kind of missing when he started painting out. Well, NSX
Yes.
is this and this and this. You could kind of sense that there was a gap, and then a new icon appeared in there and started to say this is where Carbon Black is gonna fill in.
Which is really interesting because I remember listening to Martin from Nicira back in the day, like years ago. He said the idea behind Nicira was to basically be aware of what's happening in the network. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is kind of coming full circle now with the intelligence AI and what this Carbon Black potentially brings to that vision. So I think it's really interesting that what we were hearing about 5 years ago when Nicira was initially acquired to what's happening today, putting all those pieces together. Which is
Yes.
So I think we're starting to see these other pieces, but the question is VMware getting away from their core and their base that built the business, or are they just growing it in the right spaces? Do we think they're trying to go too far out? I mean, over the years, I think we've seen them try to reach over here, and you're like, What are you doing?
I'm really targeting the security, the application awareness, the bits where they can add value. Hypervisors, commodity these days, no one cares. So they had to move.
Can you imagine only selling ESX nowadays?
Yeah, no, it wouldn't.
That might be the worst sales job on the planet.
I mean, vSphere is still the core. It always will be. And when they started to talk about what they're going to be doing with Pivotal, there's a bit of almost a reinvention of it. You're going to almost see a rewrite and the way that they handle some things at the core to be able to drive containers and everything that's in there natively now. So they're baking that all the way down into the roots of this thing here. And that's how you can accelerate a lot of it. I mean, this is the way the market and app development and everything is going. So they've got to work on that all the way at a core level.
I think, and also on that, so the big separation, the first time I'm really glad about it, even though I've just grown a beard, so it's a bit weird, but the separation of DevOps. So actually the first separation is saying you don't have to be a DevOps as such. Both worlds can live together separately, independently, but be brought together, which I think is really important because the whole DevOps movement for me has been a little bit confusing and a bit of a pressure point for a lot of IT guys. How do I DevOps?
How do I get into it? What do I do? Where do I start?
The fact that you still understand that, yes, there's that, which is our infrastructure that we still need to know about. We're going to wrap some tools around that and then looking at the actual DevOps compartment as a programmer, a coder, an automation guy, and not have to do both holistically is quite interesting.
Yeah.
So we've got now a few days coming in. We're just getting into sessions. Are there any, I know a lot of guys that have been here a lot don't tend to make a lot of sessions, but are there any that jump out at you that I think over the next few days that people haven't kind of packed their schedules already, they should definitely try to hit?
Well, even if you packed your schedules, if there's something you want and it's like, full, camp out outside, chances are you're going to get in. I was rather late to the game in scheduling things, and the sessions I want to go to are all full, so I'm going to spend a lot of camping. But I want to do, namely just because it's close to what I do on a day-to-day, I want to get the vSAN deep dives. I want to be that knowledgeable person in there, that I can take that back home and be able to translate that knowledge to customers and other people there. So getting that deep dive on the vSAN, but also kind of the hybrid cloud, so the VMware Cloud Foundation, as the sessions that I'm looking for.
There's quite a few good sessions. What I always say, we've got quite a few guys out here this week, and if it's a choice between going and talking to a vendor and looking at new technology or a new environment, go do that. The sessions will go online afterwards. You can always catch up, meet the people, say hi to people here.
So, which I think, to me, a lot of the value of this is there's more value in the people than there is
we all know that.
listening.
But if you're a first year guy, you like to sort of geek out and be at those and line up, and that's what you do with a first year VMworld guy.
Right, first couple of years, that's what you do, yeah.
Then you can finally work it out. I like the sessions that go like just beyond the black box. So Frank Denneman and a few of those guys have got those sessions in the deep memory, the NUMA sessions, where it's actually just taking it back underneath and looking at how the memory works, looking at the pro. I love those sorts of sessions because I think a lot of us today kind of maybe don't look at that point, but I guess you said we're all old to a certain extent. So we're used to being
senior, not old, senior.
So those are the ones that I like. Seasoned,
yes,
experienced, all the well. So
what are you looking for?
So my big sessions that I like to hit are the product-specific keynotes. Like there's the EUC one this afternoon. A lot of those have great information that just didn't quite make it on the main stage. So there should be real exciting things in there that maybe you didn't hear Pat talk about, but you're going to hear the vice president of that area get into detail and go, here, this is what's coming. This is the awesome sauce for our particular area.
So you mentioned kind of if they're first timers. There's obviously plenty of first timers here still, as much as we've been coming all for years and years and years, that haven't done this before. What's kind of that one, what's the one thing you would say, go do this and make sure you do it and don't miss while you're here?
Community. Go talk to somebody. If you don't know people,
that's all. Everyone says that. Everyone, we get that a lot when we're up here, but be more prescriptive. Because realistically, I walk into this space, there's a ton of people standing here. I'm just going to be like, hello, I'm here to talk to people. That's not going to work. It might. Actually, it probably would work with this crowd. There's one way.
This is true. So here in this general space, there are tons of tables. Grab a seat, listen, add your 2 cents in when you get a chance, and start forming those friendships. Start making those connections, because you don't know where it's going to take you.
I've always been a big fan of the hands-on labs. I think, it's a place like this, it's a great place to be able to work through some of the tech, and then also there are people there to ask questions of.
So you find the use of hands-on labs, the time use here, worthwhile, even though you can do them after the show?
Because of the people that support it. So there's some of these ones that are like almost classroom labs to walk through, and those you can't really get anywhere else. All you have is a lab guide that's printed out that you can't really ask questions of. Where here, they have a lot of people who even wrote the labs wandering around.
Yeah.
Well, and that's really where the question comes in. Is it worth that time while you're here? You have limited time. We're only here for a few days.
I personally wouldn't, but that's the other thing. But I think obviously if you because you're either one type of person who hands-on who you want to learn, you might not have the ability to touch this tech because you haven't got a lab or anything like that. So maybe you're right. At this point, if you can do it and you need to, jump on. For me, again, it's more about getting in that solutions exchange, looking at those peripheral techs, the startups, the guys who just come out stealth, and seeing what that is. But then on the flip side, it's a bit hard to sort of jump out and socially network with guys that you don't know, but take that plunge, even if on Twitter, say, hey, look at the tag, and reach out on Twitter and say, hey, can I have a chat? If they're in the area of interest, right? If you're a cloud guy, come and speak to whoever's a cloud guy, like John or myself. If you're in storage, come and speak. So this is what I would do, is seek out these guys, because you've got to start somewhere. We all were there when we were nervous, when we were little guys, didn't want to talk, we were fanboys. You've got to start to get over that.
Yes.
There's a lot of people, even just us, who like to walk that over there. Buddy up, use the buddy system. Walk it with someone you don't know, and it's a great way to have a conversation as you look at various vendors.
So we said walk in here, but it also, we talked about the sessions. If there's somebody that you've been following, if they have a session, go to their session. Just stay after. They're not going to not talk to you afterwards. Like, I've presented enough times here. Having people walk up after is the value of it. Like, after you've prepped, you've done it, you've got everything set. When people all walk out of the room, you really don't feel like you did it right.
Absolutely. The one I'd add to these guys, if you want to meet people and then start the discussion, register for the hackathon. Really important to meet people.
Wonderful.
I can't this year, but one of our guys is in there, and I'll be down there cheering him on.
So I think the challenge with the hackathon for new people is they walk in and they're like, well, I can't register. I don't have the skill set to register for that. I don't know what I'm doing. But I think that would be, if I'm a first year person coming in, or first, second, third year doing this, I've been doing this for a while, and I think I would be nervous about it, I think.
So here's a funny story. So I was part of the winning team last year.
Well done.
However.
Keyword team.
Yes.
That's exactly right. Which is true, because I was doing some stuff and I rocked up on the table, and our main guy, Mark Cottage, I'm giving him a send out, he'll be friggin' happy I did that. But he was the guy who was the brains behind it. But to your point, you can come and join a team, because there's plenty of tables there, add your 2 cents and you might be part of a winning team. I think this year there's some cool prizes as well. So
there are some very cool
So
prizes.
when is the hackathon?
Tonight.
And how do people sign up? Where is it? I have a feeling people have no idea.
It's all in the app.
You're not helping at all. Again, no help. Wow.
where's the app?
My phone's right over there.
Wow.
Someone look it up.
I try, and this is what I get.
Well, we try too.
Well, some of you. Okay, so we've got a few things that people should definitely do. What is the one thing you personally are really looking forward to throughout the rest of the week? Is there a keynote that you're thinking is happening? Is there a launch? And a second question for each of you. You mentioned the little vendors. Do you not think you should go see what the big vendors in the middle, what their new thing is, and figuring out what they're doing as well? Or do you leave that for later?
Go and see all your normal big vendors as well, the cohesives of this world.
Good answer.
I'm trying to get like that. And of course.
But it's not hard. VMware thinks it's funny, and they put all the companies with the same colors right beside each other. This has got to be, 6 years in a row that it's either green and green or orange and orange.
Quite close.
It's color coding.
We do.
We have on each side.
So we have an activation space. Is what our other space. The mini golf is it's actually a charity. It's for as people play. It's donations that we're matching to the Special Olympics of Northern California. So similar to Rubrik's basketball space, their activation, their charity spaces. So look at that too. It is some giving back. On those other spaces when you go around the floor, it's kind of fun, but it's also a charity thing. It's trying to give back at the same time.
Very cool.
To answer your original question, though, what am I most looking forward to? It's
This ending?
catching up with all the VMware business unit people that I don't typically see outside of this event.
Is it because you have to fly 14 hours to see them?
Pretty much.
Yeah, so for me personally, it's just getting through the sessions that we've got. You know the feeling. We all know the feeling. What the preparation that goes through the sessions. I don't want to do that. Mine's today.
The one thing you're looking forward to is it being done.
And delivering the demos going well. No, but apart from that, it's really just the parties tonight. I mean, we've got a great party tomorrow night. That's the fun side of it. And then in terms of the vendors, just having a look and seeing what's happening. You know, because I think from that point of view, look at the small ones, but again, the big ones are the ones that you're purchasing actively off today. Or if you're looking at replacing an incumbent, understanding, you know, their pros and cons. So it's very important from a technical decision-making point of view, being here and asking questions. It's the right time for it.
I mean, I always make a point to like walk every piece of the show floor. I will go up and down every single aisle so that I see everything. And I've got a little bit of a weird sense on it that I look at a lot of the booths for the architectural design. Okay, I've been doing trade shows for a long time. I've seen how the booths change, and it's always great to just see the innovation that they can contain in such a small space with a lot of these things.
A lot more LEDs.
Yeah, a lot more LEDs, a lot less automobiles being out there. You know, it's
HPE's Polaris is pretty cool.
that was pretty cool there.
Like the ruggedized Polaris is pretty cool. If you haven't seen it, that one's a pretty cool to walk past.
But I love to see how they're, you know, changing designs and stuff like that over the years as just kind of like the architecture nerd.
And who's pushing who as well? Because obviously you get a vendor who comes one year and goes, I'm going to ruin the floor of everyone else, and goes, it's going to be amazing. And so we've seen that, you know as well. You chase that. You go, we're going to better these guys, and we're going to do what's
all the planning meetings before. How are we going to beat this person, and this person?
Yes.
So what are you most looking forward to?
So I'm most looking forward to, and I'm a community person, and yes, I get to see friends that I have not seen for a year, sometimes even more. I get to catch up with them, find out what they're doing, find out what they think is cool, and so I'm getting all of that information as well, going, hey, I'm looking at this, have you thought about applying it this way?
Well, fantastic. So I think we probably need to wrap up. We are coming right up on that time. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you guys for coming up again.
been good.
So as we do one more year of this, we will be here at 11 o'clock all 3 days, or the first 3 days this week, doing vExpert Daily with different people each day, so a little bit different. It'll always be a different conversation. I look forward to seeing you all. And thank you guys. And thank you guys. Have a great show.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.